Hi, welcome back to the Y Factor. Review about the much talked, much discussed the Kashmir files. So, I'm going to base my review on two parts: one, the film, and the discussion about the film. I normally try to avoid such any controversies as such because it doesn't get any benefit to anybody. But since a lot of people have asked me for my opinion about this film, here goes. So, the movie does not claim to be a historical representation or a fictitious account. It just starts off with events happening in Kashmir. It keeps going back and forth between 89 and 90 and the current time frame. Story about a person who is a descendant of a Kashmiri Pandit who had to leave their hometown under very sad circumstances, sad being an understatement, and his grandson coming back for his last rites with his friends. That's the basic premise of the film, and the kids awakening to various things at that point of time, to the realities of his grandfather's movement from Kashmir and present day scenario, how people try to take advantage of it. Standalone, there could be various things which could be discussed about it. The film as a standalone, as a follow-up with the Tashkent Files, is a very nice film. When I say it's a nice film, it means it's not an entertaining film, let's put it that way. At least Tashkent Files had a little entertainment value because of the stupidity or the poor performance of this lead actress. But the balanced star cast was super brilliant. Here there's nothing of that sort. So it's a hard-hitting film. It is a serious representation of a historical event. There is no tomfoolery about it. The director and his team make no mistakes about that. They make no bones about trying to sugarcoat any such thing. And in all due sincerity, none of us around are aware of exactly how things panned out at that point of time. So, if he and his team claim that they have actually spoken to the people who suffered this tragedy, one goes by the face value of it and believes it. So, I'm going with the benefit of doubt that okay, these things are actually which happened, and his representation of it is brilliant. He, like I said, doesn't sugarcoat it. He has shown it the way it should have been shown, without any prejudice. And that's where the beauty of the film is, because it shows things which could have or might have happened. And I keep using that word because I do not know the veracity of the facts, and the film does not claim any sources of that in the film, at least, or maybe I missed it. So, performances by Pallavi Joshi as the Professor Adhika Menon, Anupam Kher, Mithun Chakraborty, super brilliant, is an understatement. Mithun is in his elements. I just wonder why did they have to give him such a funny and haphazard wig for both his time frames in 89-90 and in this. He could have been shown in a more, because normally IAS officers are very well presented, even in his old age, like how they've shown Puneet Issar or Prakash Belawadi, the doctor, or Atul Srivastava, who was a media guy, so that's fine. But why did they have to give Mithun this look? I don't know. But his performance is brilliant. His helplessness in 1890 and his frustration in 2021, modern present day, excellent. Anupam Kher steals your heart out. But I felt that in his, and it is through him and through his explanations that we learn about the history of Kashmir. And being a Kashmiri Pandit himself, Anupam Kher has always been vociferous about it. I remember that in 1997, when Mukul Anand was making his magnum opus thus, and he was offered a Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's role, Anupam Kher had publicly refused it and said, I am being a Kashmiri Pandit, I refuse to do the role of the Pakistani Prime Minister. If I had been given the role of a Kashmiri Pandit in the film, I would have done it for free. These are his own words. And that's when I realized about his sincerity towards his feeling. So he does a brilliant job. Brilliant is an understatement. your heart yearns for him. Similarly, along with him, his daughter-in-law played by Bhasha Sumbli, heart-wrenching. Her child Shiva, heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching rather. Brilliant performances by these people. Puneet is high, Atul Srivastava, Prakash Belawadi as a supporting friends are very nice, very good in terms of their individual performances. Mrunal Kulkarni also very good. Darshan Kumar, being given the main protagonist role, is very good in terms of when he is trying to be absorbing everything around. But somehow I felt the movie and his poor Darshan's performance in the climax of it goes a little one notch lower, because I think he could not put it with that much gusto in terms of to show that his helplessness transforming into his revised anger, seeking justice for what happened to the Kashmiri Pandits. That's my opinion. Pallavi Joshi aces it as Radhika mentioned. Like I said, the portrayal of Bitta, Stoke, Asim Malik combined, very nicely done by the actor. So all in all, the movie performances are super brilliant, and that's what makes it worth watching for. Where the loopholes come in the film is many questions come arising to you, that Mithun's character, Brahmadat being the IAS officer out there, being given superpowers, why couldn't he relocate Anupam and his family from Jammu anytime to his place during that time? Why did he let him be in the camp? Why did he never bring him to his own house? Because they've shown as best friends. Why was he very happy settling his family in another Kashmiri Pandit based area in Jammu? These are few questions which keep popping up. Like Tashkent Files was very clear that they wanted to show that the Congress government was responsible for whatever happened. But in this, the ambiguity sometimes would backfire also, because they keep on showing that the government was responsible, the media was responsible, but that time in India, media was only one channel, the government channel. 1990 we are talking about, 1890. And the government was of Janata Dal and the current ruling party. So, means the current ruling party was supporting it. So, there I think Vivek's ideologies go a little, the director's ideologies go a little haywire, because it's very clear he's trying to portray that the government of India has been doing wrong to the people of Kashmir for centuries or decades after independence also. And I don't dispute his theory on that. But where the thing comes is funny is everything that is spoken about the media being sold, bikau and all that stuff is so true today if you go to see actually. But that's the politics of the film, which I was wanting to speak separate. If you see it as a standalone film in the theatre, like I said, it is not entertaining, but it is a film worth watching for its standalone credentials. Let's leave the politics aside out of it, because people have made it an agenda that it should be a propaganda film or it is a state government sponsored film, which was very evident. If you see Vivek's history, he remade Chocolate, Usual Suspects first, which tanked. Then he made Goal, which tanked. Then he made Hate Story, which became successful as an erotic thriller. Zid tanked. So he's been trying to get his bearings as a director till he hit upon Tashkent Files in 2019, where at least he was very clear about the ideology that it is an anti-government film which has been ruling in India for 60-65 years. And he mentioned his sources also very clearly, and he mentioned that these sources are unverified. So while seeing it comes to know that you have based it on something which you believe to be true, but that thing is has not been proven anywhere. So you were fine with it. Now I feel that was his audition tape. Now he's qualified by the authorities to sponsor his full-fledged film. So he's made this, which comes across, I repeat, comes across as a propaganda film, but it is not, because there is no middle path to this. People who suffered will always see people's persecuting them in a poor light only. And in this case, we've seen so many films about the minorities being persecuted by the army or for various people, and we've been happy about it. Means not happy, means we've taken that in our stride. So we should take this also in our stride. That okay, if this shows that the Kashmiri Pandits was persecuted by the JKLF or the Islamic rebellists or militants, whatever we call them, तो you have to take it in your stride कि okay, बस ऐसा भी हुआ था, ऐसा हो सकता है कि ऐसा हुआ था, because we have not verified the facts of it, and you move on with it. You don't dwell on that fact that okay, how can you show such a thing? Because that way he's done complete justice to his venture, and that's why I would say, does this film have the Y factor? Yes, it does. I would give it a 4 on 5 for its sincerity towards the subject. But coming for the propaganda of the film, I think let's keep it out of it, because as a standalone only this film is very good. Now if you do not seek entertainment, because picture to 100 crores upar kama gayi, so Vivek and his team have been well compensated. I would love to see that the claims coming true now, because they've made it so political that all money will go to benefit of Kashmiri Pandits relocating and all. They should show that as a follow through, how they have spent it. That will be truly commendable for him and his team. But अगर पैसा नहीं खर्च करना तो OTT में 1 महीने के बाद आई जाएगी. How Tashkent Files became a cult after that, ये तो ऑलरेडी बन ही चुका है. But definitely worth a watch. It is not going to be money or time down the drain. It is worth seeing it once for the sincerity of the subject. Thank you very much. Do like and subscribe to our channel, and please follow us on Instagram and Twitter.